All right, guys, this is Ramon with RS5 Bronze, and look what I got today. We're going to be installing the rear diffuser from AE Design, or Armor Extend Design. I got mine. I don't know if you're going to be able to appreciate it, but custom matte carbon instead of the gloss carbon. You guys know that's my thing. And so nice to be a little bit different, but this is beautiful. You can see lets air come through there, and on this side you guys can see comes with the wire to attach this to your brake light. You're gonna have to figure out how to do that, and then but yeah, so came nicely packaged. I didn't do an unboxing video, that's not really my thing. When it came in a giant box, I'll show you guys that big box, and all nicely packaged. In this video, we're just gonna focus on the rear diffuser install. I'm gonna make another video on the front splitter install, as well as maybe even a third one for the canards. I don't know yet, but for right now, super excited. This thing is gonna look so good on the back. I love all the details around the exhaust, so should be good. Guys, so let's appreciate the back while we can with the OEM setup. So basically from this line down, all of the OEM carbon fiber, the reflectors that we have on both sides, all of that is going to be removed. Now, I will tell you, I spoke with one of my buddies who actually works at the Audi dealership, and instead of trying just to remove this only, he actually recommended removing the entire rear bumper to gain easier access to all of these clips down here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do what he did. I'm gonna show you all the details, and then if you guys decide to do this, you'll actually get to see what it looks like from the inside, and then you can decide if you wanna remove the whole bumper or if you just wanna remove this lower section in order to do this change. He said it's really easy, just a few bolts and then some clips, and this whole bumper should come off. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you that. We're gonna be removing the rear brake lights. He said you probably don't have to do that, but we have to gain access to at least one of them anyway in order to attach the wire for the red light that's gonna be here. So it's 2 bolts. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove them both just so that I can see what's going on when I'm trying to remove my bumper, and so I don't hurt any of these rear tail lights. So I'm gonna walk through this whole setup, but that's just a big overview of how this is gonna go down. Okay, I'm on the driver's side. I'm gonna be showing you everything on the driver's side just for ease, but this is exactly the same on both driver's side and passenger side. So you're gonna need a T25 bolt. There are going to be 1, 2, 3 up here. So you have 1, 2 that you can't see, and then 3 right here. Now you have this line here where your bumper meets your fender. Remove those. Okay, so once you remove those 3 bolts, you're going to pull the fender liner out. It's not going to come all the way out, but you just need, once again, right here where this line is, there's a bolt, another T25 right here, and it's connecting your bumper to your rear fender here. So you need to make sure you remove that. Okay, once again, shown on the driver's side, you're gonna do the same thing on the passenger side. You're gonna open up your trunk, and you're gonna get access to remove your rear light here. So the easiest way to do that is to push down on the side that's closest to your weather stripping. There's gonna be 3 clips that tuck in behind the light. I'll show you in a minute, but that's what we're popping out. And those are those 3 clips that tuck behind the light. So just set this aside. Once again, 2 T25s. We're gonna remove those. Don't let these fall. Okay, to remove the light, right back here is a piece that sticks out and goes into a rubber grommet. So that's what we are going to be releasing. And you want to pull it straight back. All right. And then you'll disconnect your light. This is that piece that I was talking about, kind of like a nipple, and then that's the grommet, rubber grommet that it goes into. Set that aside. Okay, so this is gonna be the same on the passenger side, but you have this white piece with a black circular piece in the middle. Grab a nice pair of pliers here. This does not require a whole lot of force, so just slightly lift it up, and this is what it's going to look like. Set that aside. That door here is closed around the bolt. You just reach down in there, pull it open, and it opens up towards the middle of the car. You do the same for both sides. Okay, next we need to remove this. It's pretty simple. Okay, you can pick these up, Harbor Freight, Amazon. They're just the plastic trim removal tools. So we're gonna start by breaking the connections here loose. And then this is all tucked underneath the weather stripping, so we'll have to get that out. Down here where your spare tire is, there's two clips down at the bottom. You're just gonna slightly lift up. If you look down in there, you'll see, and I'll show you what to look for. There we go, pick those up. Okay. Whew. Now we're gonna work this around the weather stripping here. So these tools can come in. Take your time here, there's no rush. You don't want to mess up your weather stripping. All right. Okay, so this down here is what you're looking for. There's a circular round metal stud that is welded to the car that these slide down onto and then pop out of. So when you stick your head back there and look for it, you can't miss it. It's right here. All I did was reach down there and pulled straight up here vertically, and that's all you have to do. Okay, so next we're gonna remove these two panels here. It's pretty easy. You'll see a black knob here that twists. You're gonna just twist it and then lift it up. It'll have these things, so you just lift it straight up. You need that to get access behind the driver's side light. The passenger side is slightly different. That part that you're looking for, that's your turning. That is just hidden upside underneath here. So same thing, you just turn it, remove it. Now be careful because down here is a 12-volt accessory outlet. So there is a wire that's going to be connected right here. I'm just going to set this off to the side and leave that wire connected. There's no need to disconnect the wire. Okay, we have 4 bolts that we need to remove. I'm going to scoot you back here. So those bolts are one back here behind the passenger side, one back there behind the driver's side, and then there's 2 in the middle here. Okay, so from the inside, that's what I'm talking about, the 2 holes. You have a larger hole and a smaller hole. I'm gonna drill out the way there. But there's a 10mm nut that's on there. You are gonna wanna use, there's no other way to say this, guys. You're gonna wanna put your finger through this smaller hole in order to make sure that as this nut comes off, that it doesn't fall down. So what I'm going to be doing, I won't be able to show this to you, but what I'm going to be doing is pushing that nut into the tip of the socket there, and that's how that's going to work. Now, this is shown on the passenger side. There goes the nut that we're going to be removing on the passenger side, and on the driver's side right there. In case you're wondering what it looks like, that's on the driver's side, and on the passenger side, not much over there. I'm not gonna film this just for cut down on the video time, but it's just as simple as removing. I would highly recommend, I did this by hand once before, and it sucked. It took a long time, so if you have like a power ratchet, now's the time to use it for removing these. But it's pretty simple and straightforward. Down here, just remember, be very careful. You do not want to drop that nut, so just take your time with these. The ones on the side are a lot easier to gain access to. All right, one last thing underneath the car. Pretty simple, there's only two. These are plastic, so be careful. But these are also 10 millimeter, just like those other nuts. Okay, so just to recap, we removed the 3 bolts holding the fender liner, pulled that back, removed the bolt that was hidden behind, going vertically, connecting the bumper to the rear fender on both sides. We removed that black plastic piece and opened up that white gate on both sides. We removed all 4 nuts holding in the bumper, and we removed the 2 10 millimeter nuts, plastic nuts at the bottom. So once all of that's done, you should be free to remove your bumper. So in order to do that, you're just gonna grab from the bottom. This part's kind of scary, but just pull. That part. It's so scary. All right, everything is removed and it's ready to come off. Okay, so I've set up 2 of just some of my kitchen chairs here, but covered them in a moving blanket. This is just going to allow a safe spot for me to rest the bumper, because there's a lot of wires and sensors that are attached to the car, and it all comes through the driver's side here where all those electrical components were that I showed you. So you want to be careful when removing that, because you're going to have a short pigtail here, and I'm going to show you how to get some extra room out of that. So you remove those 4 bolts there, and the rest of it down here. All right, it's removed. Okay, so this is very difficult to film, but I'm going to try to do some close-ups like this and then pull it back for some overview. This is that short pigtail I was talking about. So this is the only cord that connects the bumper to the car. What you're gonna do is there's this rubber grommet here. You're actually just gonna pull that out. So that's gonna give you approximately, I don't know, 4 to 6 inches of space, which you're going to want, and we will be placing that back. In case I forget, this little notch that's right in there, you're going to push that back in here, and that this metal will sit right inside that notch. It goes back very easily, but you need this extra space in order to work on everything back here. The other thing I wanted to show, because I won't be able to do this when I'm actually working, is so this whole wiring housing here, if you can remove these plastic pieces, they just pull out. They require a lot of force. So 1, 2 down there. You don't have to remove this one. I did last time, but I thought it was attached to the bumper piece that I was removing, but it's not. But if you feel like you need a little extra room, you can pull this out as well. It's pretty easy. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull it out just because it's right there. And then, so overview here. So this is that wiring harness. There's those two pieces. You definitely want to pull that out to get some more room. The other thing that I did is I just went ahead and disconnected both of these clips. So for this one here, you're just gonna squeeze both sides. A little wiggle wiggle. Trying to do this with one hand. There you go. And then this one down here has a special piece that you pull back on this gray piece. You pull back, and once you pull that back, it allows you to depress it and remove it. Make sure I'm doing that right. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna need to grab one of these tools here. Once again, I'm trying to do this, but you stick that in there and twist that out. I'm gonna need two hands to do these. These are really, really tight. So that's what I'm gonna be working on right now. And all I'm trying to do is just free up a few extra inches of room to get access to everything. You're still connected, so you still have to be careful, but now we can proceed with removing the bottom piece here that will be replaced with the carbon piece. Okay, I know I keep going from like close up to overview, but it's just the only way with how small of a working spot I have. So these are the clips that we are going to be removing, and it follows along this line. You can see all of them here. So we have to move every single one of these clips. Follows that whole line and then all the way back down to here. Okay. So that's the line that we're removing. Now, how to remove these clips. It's a two-part system. I'm gonna try to show you. Okay, I'm gonna try to show you this two-part system. I won't be able to do it with one hand since I'm holding the camera, but hopefully I can overview it enough. But you can take a screwdriver or something, and you need to pull this tab down or back. Now, once this tab is back, it allows this clip to be able to be pushed down, because there's a little lip right there, and then drop to push it out this way. So definitely need two hands. So pull this back like this, and then once this is back, it creates space for this clip to then go down and out. And so these down here are a little bit more simple. You just kind of lift that up and lift this up too to slide that out. So basically you're gonna just work from one side all the way around. Doesn't matter which side you work from. I'm gonna try to show you an overview, but hopefully that makes sense. And you know, down here, these are kind of, you have a tighter working area. So I find kind of one hand with one of these little Harbor Freight tools, little picks. I pull that back, and then I use a screwdriver to push that down and out. All right, I'm not gonna show me doing the whole thing, but I'm gonna show a couple of them just so hopefully you can get an idea of what the flow is going to look like. So I'm just gonna start by nice and slow. I don't want to force anything. Just working all these clips up. You want to kind of pay special attention as to what part of the clip is attached to this lower bumper that's being removed and what part is attached to the main bumper that we're keeping. Okay, I got that corner piece out. Let's see if I can slightly show you in an overview here of what I'm trying to accomplish. Okay, so I'm lifting up that tab like I showed you guys. Might need a second screwdriver. Let's see. Okay, so I'm lifting up that tab just enough, and then I'm pushing down and out for that clip. You just have to walk your way down one at a time. It's not all going to come out, and don't be surprised if you have to go, but that's it. I just pushed it down. I know it's a little anticlimactic, but I'm just slowly working my way around this whole thing, one clip at a time. Pull that tab up just enough to push this clip down. The tab that you're pulling up is staying, so you want to be very careful with that. The clip is what's being removed. Okay, you kind of get the flow. I'm just going to follow this all the way around to the other side and get all of those removed. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it's all removed. There goes those tabs that we are lifting up. Just another view of those tabs. Those are the tabs that stay connected to the bumper. These are what those clips look like. So this is why you have to remove it. So it's got that lip there. So once you pull that tab out, these push down and then out. Okay, so here's my carbon fiber one. I'm gonna be real honest. This is the first time I've done anything with carbon fiber, rear diffusers or front or anything really carbon fiber body pieces. So they might all be like this. I can only speak to my experience with the Armor Extend brand. If you notice on these clips, none of them have that clip part that keeps it in place. And so I had previously installed this, pushing it into all those clips, but I could literally just pull it straight out. This offers, there's not enough friction, it offers no way of keeping it in place. So reached out to the company, and apparently the way that these are installed, once again, they might all be installed like this, I don't know, is you're going to push it through the tab, and then you pre-drill a hole and you place a screw through the tab. And that screw acts as your clip so that it can't get pulled back through the bumper. I don't know. I'm just going off what I'm told, so that's what I'm going to be doing. So at this point, it's just pretty simple. I'll try to do an overview again, but I'm just going to push all these connectors through all the tabs. They do all line up. So that's not a problem. But if you have a second pair of hands, it's definitely very helpful. But you just want to push. Now, I will let you know, I won't be able to show this close up, so I'm going to talk about it now. You are probably going to have to manually place every tab to get pushed through this little space opening between the bumper and that clip. I kind of had to, me and my next door neighbor last time came over, and we just individually went through each one and made sure that it was pushed as far as it could possibly go through that clip. And it worked. But it's just kind of a slow process. So I'm gonna try to show a quick overview of what I'm doing, but I probably won't film the entire piece just because of how time consuming it's gonna be, especially since I'm by myself this time. But I think you get the overview. I will say all the tabs did line up correctly. So, you know, all of these side pieces all lined up, but there's no way for these to stay connected. So everything's gonna have to get a hole and a screw. Speaking of screws, I went to any Home Depot, Lowe's, any of those places that you have. Sorry, I know the lights are glaring, but it's dark out here. And I went with the number 8 1-inch. But the most important thing is that it's stainless steel. So you want these to both be stainless steel. I wasn't sure if I'm going to add a washer or not. I'll let you guys know just to help distribute some of that load. But I bought some just in case also in stainless steel. Putting it underneath that wire. You can see where having a second pair of hands would come in handy. Okay, so now that I have it on, these 4 screws that we had to remove actually come in really handy. I'm going to replace them to hang the bumper back on just so that I can take a look at everything, make sure I'm happy with the way it looks. It's out the way for now. Don't want to pinch those. Okay, that should hold it on to place with those screws. Okay, so it's all on there, as you can see. Now I'm gonna get to the real part with you guys of things I don't like. Okay, so on the passenger side, everything lines up really nice. But the more you go over to the driver's side, the more it starts sticking out. I don't know if you can appreciate that. So here it's nice and flush on the passenger side. But as you move, it starts to stick out. It's just a couple millimeters, but you know, it's enough. If you're a car guy, you get it. And then it goes, you know, back flush down here, which is, you know, really nice. So I'm gonna try to trim out those tabs to see if I can get a little extra purchase to push them in a little bit farther, and see if that helps resolve that issue. Now, my major concern, and the one that I've been going back and forth with them, is underneath. Okay, so underneath here, one, the holes don't line up anywhere where they're supposed to. And that's where the bolt is, and you can see it's way off. Kind of hard to truly appreciate, but I promise you it's way off. Bolts over here, screws here, and actually up more, so it should be here. That's fine, I can drill another hole, don't mind that. My bigger issue comes with the fact that this entire Sorry, this is my neighbor. On the OEM one, it doesn't have this large plate that's touching the bottom of the wheel well down here. So because of that, I can no longer push this up anymore. And I have a huge distance between the bottom of this and my carbon fiber. And it is physically impossible to push up because of this. I think you guys can understand that. The OEM one doesn't have this plate, and instead it's cut out like this. And it just has the small little tabs that come here and here to attach it. So what they're telling me that I have to do, which is ridiculous when you spend this much money on carbon fiber parts, these are all expensive, we know, is they want me to Sharpie out around the wheel well and then take a Dremel and cut it out. And they're saying that if I do that, I should have enough flex that I'll re-drill the hole, another thing, and then be able to attach this to the bottom. So, at one point there was talks about just putting it on without even attaching it to the bottom of the car, which I, of course, declined and did not feel safe doing. This is just gonna be a giant sail and pulling it. So, basically, that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know what other carbon companies are doing with the rear diffusers. I'm assuming they have a better design than this. I'm kind of pissed about it, but it's the hand that's dealt. I'm gonna make the best of it. I'm gonna trace it out, cut it out, and try to get this thing to work. While it was on the car, I Sharpied out and even put X's on the part that I need to remove. I don't know how well you can see. The way I got this line is just looking, I made little marks here and here. And then just from what I could see from behind where that wheel well ends, and then just honestly just eyeballed everything to where I needed or thought I would need in order to create these tabs that can then attach. I'll have to drill new holes, but that'll be after everything's mounted, and that I can do with this on the car. As you can see, I have hearing protection. I doubt it's safe to breathe in this stuff, so respirator. I got eye protection. So really try to set everything up for safety, and then I'm using a Dremel tool with a cutoff wheel. Full disclosure here, I've never done this before. They recommended a Dremel with a cutoff tool, so I mean, these things can cut through metal. I have no problem cutting through carbon fiber, but we'll see. Go see if this works. The other thing I wanted to do, which I'm not going to record, I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the cutoff, is on the driver's side, this part is sticking out a little bit. My hope is what I'm going to do is cut this back a little bit further, and this will allow these tabs to insert a little bit deeper and hopefully pull this in. So I'm only going to do like 2 or 3 millimeters, not much, and extend these tabs out basically starting from probably right around here in the middle and then all the way to the end here. From the side, this side was totally fine, so I'm going to stop at this tab up here, but all of these other tabs I'm just going to slowly just take my time, but I'm not going to record all that. It cuts very nicely, very easily with the cutoff wheel. I had no problems. Just take your time, go slow, and these are extremely dangerous, so be extra safe. So after making those relief cuts, this side was always good, passenger side. And then from here, it started sticking out. Look at this, guys. Nice and flush all the way through. Sticks out a little bit here, but it actually does that here too. It's just part of how the curvature of it is, so that doesn't bother me. It's at least even on both sides. tucks right back in, nice and clean. So those relief cuts were all that it needed. Speaking of relief cuts, so this is the notch that I had to cut out, and you can see now everything is raised up more, and I should have enough. I'm gonna have to pre-drill a hole, but I should be able to bring this whole thing up and attach it now. Sucks that I had to do all that, but it is what it is. I got it to work. I think I got it lined up pretty nicely. So I'm going to be using stainless steel. You want anything that's rust resistant. It's about as good as you can get. So stainless steel. I got the pan head screw. I also went ahead to pick up some stainless steel washers as well, just so that I can not have all that pressure from the screw on the plastic. So I made sure that the carbon fiber is pushed as far in as it can. Everything looks good and lined up from this side. So now what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do a close-up again, just like I've been doing. Let's see if I can rearrange the view here. In order to put a screw through here, I'm going to have to drill through this plastic. Now, this is a separate piece, and you can see it clips in here. So I'm not causing any damage to the actual bumper itself, and nothing will be visible on the outside, but I'm going to drill a hole from the top. It's going to come down through the carbon fiber and then down a little bit, and that screw will sit something like that, plus a washer. So I have some number 8-inch ones that are an inch long, so I'm going to figure out if I'm going to go with a number 6 or that are 3/4 inch long, or number 8 that is 1 inch long. I'm just going to have to play it by ear. I'll let you guys know what I end up deciding to do. Now on these, I won't be able to put a screw there or here, but anywhere that I can place a screw, I'm going to place a screw. So you see you are limited in certain spots, but if you can do it. Now over here on both of the sides, you can just drill straight through the carbon fiber itself. You don't need to go through the bumper. And then same here on these sides, we'll just drill straight through. Another thing I want to mention is you want to get as close as you can to the plastic so that it can't wiggle itself out. So I'm going to be drilling the holes pretty darn close so that it can't wiggle out or move anywhere. Okay, so I had to get a 90-degree attachment for my drill because it's impossible to find the angle to drill down, whereas here I can place the drill bit and go straight down. So hopefully that makes sense. You can pick these up online. I got a DeWalt one, but they sell other 90-degree attachments for your drill. They come in really handy. So for the number 6-inch screws, I'm using a 1/8 inch drill bit. I already placed one down here. You can't really see it. So I'm going to start working on these here. I'll show one or two, but because this is more of an overview shot, you won't really be able to see. When I'm all done, I'll do a close-up of what it all looks like. Okay, so this is the one where I'm having to go through the plastic and then through the carbon fiber. So I just always make sure everything's pushed in as far as it can before I drill anything. And once again, I'm drilling as close as I can to where the carbon fiber meets the bumper. Okay, I pre-drilled the hole, but I don't have room, so I literally put the Phillips in here. You can see it's barely sticking out, but it does work. I have been using the washers. So make sure you put that washer on first. and then drill the hole. Just nice and slow. I'm trying to use only the number 6s, so we'll see. Stainless steel, they're not magnetic, so you have to hold on to it. Okay, so this is the first one I did. That one just went straight through the carbon fiber itself. Hopefully you can appreciate that. This is the one I just did on camera there. It goes through. I think it's gonna be more than enough. All this is doing is stopping it from being pulled out, and the number 6 3/4 inch should be more than enough to handle that. You can't see it on camera, but I can see it. There you go, you can kind of see it's extending down far enough. This is not gonna break. So, once again, I'm just gonna keep doing, and then I'll show you when I'm all done what it all looks like. Okay, so I have all of them in, skipped one here, did 2 there, skipped those 2, did 2 there, skipped 1 here, and then did the rest of them. So over here on both sides, I'm just going to show you this side, it's the same on both sides. I had add a bunch of washers, because if not, the screw would poke out the bumper, which we don't want. So there's 8 washers, 5 washers, 3 washers. So you might have to experiment with that. Once again, this is just making sure it doesn't come out. This isn't holding a whole lot of load or anything like that. There you go. That is definitely not going to go anywhere. So, once again, next steps. We're going to push these clips back in, this clip back in, which goes down there. We're going to plug both of our wires. We're going to make sure this wire gets fed. I think I'm going to go through the bumper here like this. So we're going to go through the bumper, and then I'm choosing my driver's side. It doesn't really matter which side you do, but you just want to make sure that this wire is fed up here so you can have access to reach the wires back here to make your connection. And once again, when we put it in, we're going to be placing these screws into the 4 holes and holding everything in place. While I'm here, this is a better view of that door. So you have to push this little tab in order to close it. So this is closed, and that's where that black piece rod will kind of go through there so that it can't open up again. And then you open it up. But just a close-up of what that looks like. All right, I'm attaching this, now that I can bring everything closer. Attaching the wire harness back to the bumper. Reconnecting all my connectors. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention it, I know I mentioned it at the beginning, but since we're putting the bumper back on, you definitely need to reinstall this rubber grommet so you don't get noise or water entering your car. It just pushes back into place. The other thing is you want to make sure, because this middle part can come in and out a little bit, so push it all the way back in. That's part of the seal, and that's how it came from the factory. So I'm just feeling all the way around, making sure none of that rubber grommet is folded over. It feels nice and seated in there, so it should be good to go. Okay, so it's just sitting on the screws. What I'm doing before I push everything in is I'm grabbing this electrical connector for the light and the wire for the car. I want to make sure that those are draped over those screws to have easy access to everything. Ooh, looks good. Okay, when putting this bumper back on, this kind of tripped me up a little bit, but on the bumper itself, you have these plastic pieces here, and you can see the holes. That's where the screws are going to go through. This entire plastic piece that's attached to the bumper needs to go in front of the pieces here that are actually attached to the car. So you kind of have to pull it. I won't be able to do this with one hand, but pull it towards the front of the car and then push it in place until this whole ledge system is in front of that. So hopefully that makes sense. Then when you do that, all these other clips and stuff should all line up and clip into place. I'm not sure how well it's gonna show up on video, but we're gonna try. Okay, once that's in front, there you go. Do the same thing to the other side. Okay, a little trick for getting these screws back in is just put it on there and do it by hand instead of trying to use it with it attached to your wrench. And I'm going to do that same trick for installing all of these. Okay, Ken, I'm just doing things in reverse. So we're gonna take our black pen. I showed you this already, but you're gonna close that white gate. Push that down. Next, we're going to take our 4 nuts here and attach it to the screws. This you can use power, but just to get it started, but I would finish it by hand because it's still attached to your plastic bumper here, and you do not want to create too much torque. But since those screws are so long, using your power drill to get that started, and the nut threaded almost all the way to the bottom is going to make your life easier. I would still recommend starting it by hand so that you don't cross thread anything. Okay, we're going to install this. This part kind of sucks, getting the weather stripping back on top, but it just is what it is. Same thing, you look for those metal pins that are located inside the car, down by the spare tire. Make sure that these are lined up with that. Push down. They have this little lock system, so it's going to require a little bit of force at first to open that up around it, and then it'll slide in place. Alright, just going to grab one of these tools or 2 of them, and don't push it down or click it into place yet until you get the weather stripping on top of the front edge here. There's no real fun, easy way of doing this. You just work your way through nice and slow. Now that the weather stripping is on top, it's pretty simple, just push. Done. Okay, now we have to install the lights. I know as of right now, I am not connecting the red brake light on the rear diffuser, honestly, because I just don't know how. So look for a follow-up video once I figure out the wiring and the best way to do this. I have someone that's going to be helping me. I'll do a follow-up video and link it to this so that we can attach the wire. But for right now, it's not hanging down underneath. It's up here, it's not going anywhere, so I'm just gonna leave it just like that. Okay, don't forget, we have this little nipple here, and it's gonna plug into that rubber grommet, just like pulling it out. You're gonna push it straight in, but make sure you connect your light first. Okay, just like before, we're not using any power tools to put this back. This is all plastic. I'm gonna start it by hand and then finish it by hand. And we got these clips. I got the wrong one. The silicone part goes facing up. These clips have to be placed behind the light. So I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna put it in from the weather stripping side first, and I'm just going to line it up behind the lights. We also have these clips here that line into these tabs. So there's one up here and one back there, and that's what those clips clip into. Push in those clips that I just showed you, and then push it in behind the light. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Okay, we wanna put our covers on. It's gonna be the same thing for both sides. I just can't pull this big one out because it's still attached. Tabs in first, and then you push it up and lock it into place just by turning that knob. All right. Okay, so I don't know how well you're gonna see this, but I basically just grabbed the same size drill bit that they used in their holes there. And I'm just gonna push this up. And honestly, unfortunately, there's no good way other than eyeballing this. All right, drill your holes and then attach that nut there. That was the original hole over there. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of tension, but you know, the company said it's not gonna break, so, but it is definitely solid and not going anywhere. You can better see that cut that I made. But yeah, a lot of tension right here where it's having to bend upwards, but it is what it is. All right, next part of this system I don't really like is that the rear canards here, that's what they're calling them, they don't really line up all that well. Huge gap here. Like it's not pretty. So, just like everything else with this system, we're gonna have to modify this as well. So we're gonna make sure that this piece here is butted up against the rear diffuser. All that looks good. And then I'm lining the top of the diffuser with the top of this rear canard here. I'm probably gonna have to get a second pair of hands because I need somebody to hold it really tight like this. And then I'm gonna have to, same thing, pre-drill and then use the same stainless steel screws in order to attach this to the rear diffuser. Now the problem is that it creates a lot of tension on the front end here, and here is where we're going to be placing double-sided tape. We're going to clean all this up. That double-sided tape is not going to be strong enough, so I'm going to have to probably place another screw that goes down through here in order to hold it in place, because the amount of tension is just too great. So what I have to do is up here is pull it out, and it's countering forces here. And so I have this that wants to pull it in, but I need it to be pulled out to line up and to look right, line up with my fender, the whole nine. So it's gonna be a process. Now before we put down any of the double-sided tape, you always want to take some rubbing alcohol and clean off that surface first. And we only need to do this top flat surface. We don't need to do the rest of it. They provide you with this double-sided tape, so we're just going to place it down in there. Follow that curve. Shouldn't surprise me that they were stingy with the tape. I mean, they could have provided an extra 6 inches to a foot of tape. It's not that expensive, but I ran out of tape, but I did make sure to put it towards this side because this is where all the force and tension is going to be. Back here, it's already going to be screwed in, so I'm not as worried. But just take your time, push this all the way in, create a nice solid seal there. Your same rubbing alcohol here, and you need to clean the bottom of this really well. This is probably going to take a handful of times, but so I'm just going to keep going, cleaning this, and be back. As you can see, when I have everything in the front lined up, which is with the front of this fender wheel here, and then with the back edge of this fender, that's what lines up here and here. And then this butts up, this part here butts up against the end of the rear diffuser. When I do that, I have this giant gap. And no matter, I mean, without breaking it, but I'm applying a lot of force, cannot get that tip to close. I have, man, at least half an inch. I mean, let's see if I can change the angle there. You see? I mean, I'm pushing, like I'm not being gentle, and cannot get that to close. What they want you to do is this little lip here, to put screws through it to screw into the side of the diffuser, which is whatever, like it's fine. I think it's stupid, but it is what it is. But I can't even get this gap to close. And if I do, like this is how it's supposed to be, you can see how far that's sticking out. I just can't, it's rocking here. This is the fulcrum or the pivot point. I had this mapped out. I was gonna try to cut like a section out, but I don't really want to mess with this angle here with this curvature. So what I'm hoping is that I can make a relief cut here and allow this piece to go in more, and that should hopefully relieve this tension here and allow this to flex in more, and then line everything up. It's a simple just relief cut here, maybe half an inch or so. It's the only thing I can think of that's going to allow me to line everything up here and not be visible. So we'll see. Okay guys, it's been raining the last few days, so my car's filthy, but let me show you what I did because I lost the video from the initial install. I actually had to cut out sorry, I had to cut out from here all the way to here in order to get this angle to fit. And I just cut it out the thickness of this piece here. I did have a double-sided tape. I'm actually recording this video a long time after my initial video that I had created. So the double-sided tape has just worn out over time, so I'm just gonna replace that. But that's what kind of held it tight into place there, and it worked for quite a long time, so I'm not upset that I have to replace that. But this side was a pain, but once that double-sided taped right there, you can't really tell that I had to make that relief cut or anything, and it comes together really nicely. Now I did still lay down on the ground here, screw in, let me see, one screw there and one screw there, so that's all screwed in, as well as double-sided taped. But you can see what that looks like. Right now that, like I said, that double-sided tape is removed, but it still looks way better. It's tucked in nice. On the driver's side, this one was easy to install. It did stick out a little here. There was a little tension, but it was minimal, so I was able to get it all together. And on this side, oh, sorry, I added still this 2 screws there, but I also added 2 screws here. You can see there's this tiny, tiny little lip that of this piece that I was able to barely screw into the larger lip of the bumper itself. And you can see I just had the screw going out here and here. Both of these, but especially this one here, that screw that's right there, just make sure you're not going through your physical bumper up here. So I just went really, really slow and screwed those in so that nothing would accidentally stick out of here. And I pre-drilled everything before I screwed it in. All right, guys, so this is the final view install. Once again, sorry, our car's dirty from the rain, but you can see I tried on these side wings here to line them up with the wheel well. But I love this. Got some vents there. The other thing I like is that it has this carbon fiber piece below, so it's fully wrapped versus just above. It's just those little details. Got the vents there, the wired vents, all the matte carbon fiber. More venting on the right side there. Same thing here, we're lining that up with the wheel well. But man, super happy with this. It looks so good. Definitely changes the entire rear of the car. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that video. I know everybody's rear bumper install and the company that they're going to get it from is different, but hopefully you'll learn enough from this that you feel comfortable taking this on and doing it yourself. I feel like most of it is going to be universal for any brand that you use. My particular issue with those side rear wings is probably going to be unique just to me, but if you have something that you're dealing with, hopefully you can look back at this video and it can help you overcome whatever issues. We all know that these carbon fiber fitments are not going to be OEM, and you're going to have to do some sort of modifications. But I do think that screwing in those tabs, unless you're lucky enough that the company you're using actually has real tabs, but all of that stuff I think is going to be helpful for you guys in any rear carbon fiber diffuser that you guys decide to put on. So hope you enjoyed this video. Of course, always leave tips and tricks of your own down in the comments below so we can all learn from them. You guys have a good day. Thanks.